It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's like Christmas morning today with football being back. Merry Christmas. Santa's coming tonight.
I have never been more excited. I have never been more excited for a season, a weekend of football, especially here in Colorado.
My goodness.
We got the Buffs taking on the Corn. We have the Broncos hosting the Raiders. Like, what more could you want as a football fan in Denver right now?
I mean, I know with the Buffs, they're calling it Hate Week.
Yes.
This is just Colorado's Hate Week all throughout the state.
Yeah, let's keep it rocking. Hate week all around. We don't like Nebraska. I'm coming to find out. You know, I've been here for 10 years now, and I never knew that. But I feel like I'm hopping on the bandwagon quick.
I love it. Coach Prime loves to hear that. And you were up there yesterday, too. How was it?
Yeah, I was up there with the team. Got to see them practice. Got to talk to some of the guys. They look good. They look crisp. I wouldn't be want to play them this week. It was my first time up there since Sac State got the win a couple years ago. Don't know if we would get a win this week, but, you know, I'm happy for the Buffs. I think they're going to go in and play well. And, man, they're excited. I think the whole city's excited. The school's excited. They're ready to rock.
Can you explain the energy that you felt being out there yesterday? Because I just feel like, as a fan, from my seat, my perspective, it feels so different this year.
Yep.
But actually being out there and interacting, what was it like?
Yeah, it felt like an NFL practice. You know, you got coaches out there yelling and screaming, making sure guys getting right. They're not afraid to stop practice and, you know, run that back, walk through it, make sure everybody knows their job. So it really had that NFL energy, and it was so well run. On point. It felt like an NFL practice, so it's no wonder why those guys were rolling so well on Saturday.
I feel like in the first 5 minutes of that TCU game, I knew the Buffs were going to win because I could not believe how efficient the offense and the defense looked. I mean, you say NFL practice, it looked like an NFL offense running out there going or up tempo, and it just looked so smooth. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and that was in the middle of the heat. It was hot early in the morning. I think that, you know, when they get some more favorable conditions, I mean, nobody cramped. They weren't like they were like winded out there. They looked fresh. So now I feel like it's all, I don't know, uphill, downhill. I don't know if they're rolling or they walk, but it's all good stuff from here on out.
Shedeur Sanders, 10 school records set in that first game. And he's like, I could play better. I'm like, ooh, baby, you show me. You prove it. I love it. I cannot wait for that game. But even just as excited for Sunday as well with Broncos and Raiders. This is... we don't hate a team more than the Raiders, and after losing 6 straight to these guys, like, I just hope it's a shellacking.
And Josh McDaniels on the other side. I mean, the Broncos could destroy the Raiders, and I don't just mean on the field, I mean off the field as well. They could destroy their season the very first game, because if they lose this game and Josh McDaniels does something crazy after, like yells at the players when it was clearly his fault and stuff, he could lose the entire locker room week 1.
Yeah, I think he's already lost maybe a quarter of it already. So, you know, let's keep it rolling. Let's see what we could do, what kind of havoc we can create over there in that locker room. Because I think he's bound to do something crazy. I think that's just part of his makeup and resume. Something crazy is going to happen throughout the year that'll have us all like scratching our heads.
Wouldn't it be funny if the Broncos are the reason why Josh McDaniels officially loses his job in Las Vegas? Like, that would, you don't want to root for anyone to lose their job ever, because that's just terrible. But if one team's going to do it, I hope it's the Broncos.
And it's the Raiders that they're doing it to. And Josh McDaniels, like 13 years after he absolutely tried to ruin the franchise. And that would just be so fitting. And Hate Week can start tonight with the Lions potentially beating the Chiefs. Boy, I mean, the Lions, I know they're a lot better than they've been the past like 25 years. But if the Lions start the season off by beating the Chiefs, the Buffs beat Nebraska, and then the Broncos take care of business against the Raiders, You couldn't have a better start to football in Colorado.
No, that would be the best thing for us. I mean, I think I'm taking a shot for every win, so I'm ready to take a couple. So let's do it, boys.
Let's do it.
3 spread out over 4 days, though, isn't a lot, Todd. So we're going to have to get a different drinking game going.
I'm taking 3 in preparation. So, like, I'm pre-celebrating every day until we get all 3.
Okay, 3 a day.
3 a day.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Just to start out.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
That's called a pregame for Todd. That's called my whole night. Yeah,
that's called Zach blacked out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's dive into the keys for the Broncos beating the Raiders. And you guys know Whiteboard Wednesday, but it's Thursday, because we're a little thrown off this week with the holiday. So we're going to dive in and give you the keys to the Broncos beating the Raiders. And I got to say, Todd and Alexis understood the assignment. Their very first whiteboard, and they know exactly what to do. So let's jump into the whiteboard and break down this game like no one else is.
I think we could change the name to this to Thumbtack Thursday. Like using a thumbtack with a little piece of paper to just for future reference.
Okay, well then,
thanks for showing up late, Lex.
Look, Yahir's gonna have some work to do, because look at this whiteboard that he made.
Whiteboard, Yahir.
He did a pretty good job. And there's no way that either of you can read the little hidden message on this board, can you? It's up there right now. I wouldn't be able to unless Yahir told me about it.
We snatched Yo chain.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. How did you read that?
I have really good eyesight. I think I'm at 20/20, but
wow.
yeah.
Yep.
Not bad.
No.
I know Todd can't see it.
Hell no, I can't see that at all.
Speaking of Aqib, wasn't his beef with the Tennessee Titans wide receiver with Harry Douglas?
Was there a beef?
Well, wasn't it Harry Douglas when he said, "If I see you in Atlanta, I'm gonna beat your ass"?
Oh,
Wasn't that Harry Douglas?
I forget who it was, but I remember who.
Alexis,
I remember the
that,
issue.
But Harry Douglas is now on ESPN, and every time I see him, I'm like, "Damn, you weren't afraid to show your face. You better watch out. He might be coming after you."
Let's do quote. I think it was.
I think it was Harry Douglas, and man, Aqib just, I mean, chain snatching.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he tried to end his career with a cheap shot that led to a brawl. Yep. According to Business Insider. Hold on, let me find a better source.
Business Insider breaking down this news.
I don't think they know. I know. Yeah, it was Henry.
It was Harry.
Yeah, there's Sports Illustrated, a little bit more reputable.
And actually, I think our very own Ryan Green got that clip of Aqib saying that went absolutely viral. So Harry, just watch out. Okay, let's jump into Whiteboard Wednesday. Here we go. The first one. Stop joshing around. Broncos, stop messing around.
Yep.
Josh McDaniels has taken care of you 2 times so far. In his 2 first games, he's 2-0. But it's the other Josh. It's Josh Jacobs. Stop messing around. Do everything you need to do to stop the new number 8 on the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh Jacobs has he's been the Broncos' daddy since he's entered the league. 7-0.
Ooh, don't call him daddy.
He has been. He's 7-0 against the Broncos. The one game that he didn't play, the Broncos won. Mm-hmm. So literally, if he's on the field, he is beating the Broncos. Josh Jacobs also, last year, he averaged 167.5 yards from scrimmage against the Broncos. So that's rushing and receiving combined. Yeah. Almost 170 yards over 2 games. Todd, how difficult is that to do?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's running downhill. I think that's the hardest thing to stop. I mean, it's like when you get a cut, it's hard to stop the bleeding. And when as the game goes on, runners tend to get more powerful. You get tired of tackling somebody. So if he starts off hot, I think it's going to be a long day for the Broncos. There's nothing worse than trying to tackle a powerful back for 60 plays on a hot day and you can't get it done. So like you said, they have to stop joshing around and they got to get him to the ground, and they don't want to get him started.
No, they don't want to get him started, because what Josh McDaniels proved last year is he's just going to continue to hand the ball off and get touches to Josh Jacobs. Another kind of mind-blowing stat, he averaged 30 touches per game last year.
Yeah.
30 touches per game. You never see that in today's NFL with now there's 2 back sets and everything. 30 touches is wild. So that just shows Josh McDaniels isn't going to overthink this. Mm-hmm. If Josh Jacobs is hot, he's going to get him the ball.
He also averaged 17 yards receiving in that final game against the Broncos. And per catch. I mean, that's pretty incredible. I'm wondering from your perspective, Todd, on a guy who wasn't in OTAs, wasn't in training camp with this team, do you think that there's a slow start on the horizon for Josh Jacobs? Or at that position, given the fact that he's returning to the same offense, do you think that he's going to pick up right where he left off?
Yeah, I feel like he's going to start slow, but I don't think his slow is going to be normal running back slow.
Yeah.
So he may not have 170 yards or 167 yards. I still think he'll have like an 80 or could have an 80 or 90-yard game if the Broncos don't contain him, because he is a veteran back. He is going into the same system. And then sometimes he might just be fresh right now. People think he's not in the building, so he doesn't have that cohesion with the offense and the offensive line, but he's actually fresh at the same time. Like, his body's not banged up. So, with his being a veteran, I don't feel like he'll be too slow of a start, so it is imperative that we stop him early on.
And you would think a guy that's going on a contract year right now would show up fully in shape, ready to go, so that maybe he is fresh, but hopefully, maybe he wasn't working out as hard in camp, and then maybe that could lead to a slow start. But you would think that a guy that wants to get paid.
Yeah, I think any NFL player, whether they're with their team or not, these guys, they know that their livelihood depends on this. He's going to be working out throughout this entire, situation with the Raiders and hoping to get signed somewhere else. I mean, it's not like he was going to show up somewhere else out of shape, right? So he showed up in Las Vegas ready to go. I just hope that he's not like ready.
I know, and I hope what Todd said, I would sign up in a heartbeat for 85 or 90 rushing yards from Josh Jacobs right now. Now, there's a caveat that maybe he has 60 receiving yards to go along with that. I wouldn't sign up for that, but under 100 rushing yards, I would take that right now, because in the 7 games that he's played the Broncos, he has over 700 rushing yards, so over 100 rushing yards per game.
Do you think the Broncos front 7 has improved enough over the past year, or I guess since really November last time facing Josh Jacobs, to limit him significantly this year? Or do we feel like this Broncos front 7 is pretty similar?
I think that they've improved enough. I think it really depends on the outside rushers playing discipline. It's Frank Clark and Randy Gregory. They have to be able to play run first and then convert to pass. And it's okay being late on Jimmy G as long as we have good coverage. So they have to play to stop the running game, and I think that's going to be the biggest factor. The guys in the middle are pretty much the same, so I think it really is going to depend on the 2 edge guys to really be adamant about stopping the run first.
Yeah. I feel like the Bash Bros are going to go ham.
They got to bash.
They're going to bash this week.
I mean, it's going to be all about those big boys up front, locking down the line so that Josie and Alex can have those one-on-ones. And Josie, Jewell, and Alex Singleton, pretty damn good at tackling. So I think they should be able to control that. And I think Todd's right. I think when you look at the front 7, especially a defensive line pretty much the same in terms of talent there. You lose Draymond Jones, but you pick up Zach Allen. But the outside linebackers are much deeper. Last year it was like you got Randy Gregory and you have Bradley Chubb to start the season.
Yeah, late in the season, that's when it got concerning.
Exactly. But you didn't have depth. I mean, Jonathan Cooper, he hadn't taken the step that he did now, and Nick Bonito was playing like a rookie.
Right.
Now, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper have taken massive steps. In fact, Jonathan Cooper has taken such big of a step that he's the starter over Frank Clark. Frank Clark might be the highest paid backup in the NFL.
I know we were told not to read too much into the depth chart yesterday by Sean Payton, but I am reading so far into this. I don't think that this was, we have so many different rotations, it doesn't really matter who's listed where. Like, I believe that Jonathan Cooper earned that starting position, and I'm not shocked at all. I mean, I was going to go super hot take when we were doing roster predictions and say, guys, Frank Clark doesn't make this team. That's what I thought. But to see Jonathan Cooper listed where he's at, I don't think that's, we just put a guy's name in because it doesn't really matter. Jonathan Cooper earned that spot.
100%. And we kind of saw glimpses of it throughout training camp where Jonathan Cooper 100% earned it. But then Frank Clark missed a couple of days with a club decision. Then he was playing into the 4th quarter of a preseason game. He didn't seem happy about it after. And the Broncos in their depth chart, when it comes to Kareem Jackson and Caden Stearns, it's Kareem Jackson or Caden Stearns. If they wanted to do that to give Jonathan Cooper some love by showing him how good of a job he's done, they could have done Frank Clark or Jonathan Cooper. So I think it's a message to both sides. Jonathan Cooper, you've done a hell of a job. And if you work this hard, we're going to reward you. And who knows what's going on the other side. But there's just been enough signs to be like, that's interesting. But in the end, I think the depth at outside linebacker is so much better than last year.
Yeah, and it's so funny to me for Sean to be like, oh, it's nothing. Like, we're going to have a rotation. Nothing he does is blow it out the window. It's whatever. We'll figure it out as we go. Like, he is so detail-oriented that it's funny that he's taking a stance like, no, it 100% matters. Mm-hmm. They have who they want to be the starter, at the starter on the depth chart, and that's who you're going to see get the primary amount of snaps or the most snaps. Maybe Frank Clark is more of a third down type guy this year. He is getting older, so maybe that's how they're going to choose to use him, and we'll see.
Yep, we will. All right,
we're gonna have to talk about the pass rush later too.
Yes,
so
we are.
We're
gonna have to. Let's see the next key to this game. Free Russ.
That was me. Yeah, this is the alternative, the new idea to let Russ cook. I think this is a really good way, this first game of the season, to just let Russ be vintage Russ. Let him get out of the pocket. Let him scramble. Let him use his legs. Let us see vintage Russ, Hall of Famer Russ on the what am I trying to say?
I know what you're talking.
The Russ-o-meter.
Yes.
The Russ-o-meter. That's how back Russ is. I think he's ready to go. I want to see him. I mean, I don't think Sean Payton ever intended to make him a pocket passer. This is not last year. This is an entirely different staff, new offensive scheme system. I would rather see Russ use his legs, and I just want to see him have fun. He needs to set the tone with this offense, having fun, and not playing timid, not playing scared. And I think when we see Russell Wilson at his best is when he's scrambling, he's out of the pocket making plays.
Sean has touched on that so much, and he's also kind of touched on, I don't want Russ thinking too much. I just want him to go out and play. And what does Russ do? That's what he does when he's at his best. It's like backyard football, running around, and especially, we're going to talk about Max Crosby more in depth later, but especially when you have Max Crosby there, the last thing you want is Russ standing in the pocket, just waiting for the pressure to get there. So get Russ on the move, Alexis. I totally agree, and this is a defense where you can do it against.
Yeah, and I think it's time for Russ to be able to cook the food he's good at cooking. You know, you don't ask the grill master to start making sushi. And last year I felt like he was back there trying to make sushi and it didn't taste too good. So now I think it's time for him to get back into his bag and cook, but cook with the food and the utensils he's used to using. So I'm excited to see that happen.
Yeah, and we saw it. We did not see Russ move around in the first preseason game, and he wasn't good. I mean, it took to the fourth drive when they were playing second and third stringers against the Cardinals to put a drive together. However, the next game against the 49ers, on one drive, he had more rushing yards than passing yards. I don't expect that to be the case. 200 rushing yards, 199 passing yards in this game. But that's the type of Russ that I expect Sean to deploy.
And he looked fast. And I know that's kind of funny because we've talked about that numerous times. We're like, well, how fast can Russell Wilson really be at this point in his career?
Yeah.
I think he trained for that this offseason. I think that was an area of focus for him, was to obviously shed a little weight and not have so much to carry around when he was scrambling out of the pocket. And every time I saw him run, he looked legitimately fast to me. And so I'm excited to see what he can do, picking up first downs that way, continuing to keep drives alive. Because is there a single moment for this fan base that gets us more excited than when Russell Wilson picks up a first down using his legs? I mean, it just injects a ton of energy into the offense when you know that your quarterback isn't just going to sit back there and get blown up, that he's going to at least attempt to make a big play. And I just want to see Russ, I think, just with all the noise and all the bullshit heading into this season after last season and national news articles and all that, I just want to see him come out and just have himself a day.
Alexis getting spicy, dropping the bullshit. I love it. And what do you think first play of the game for the Broncos? Quarterback run. Maybe a little read option.
You think so? I think it's gonna be a shot.
Ooh.
I think first play, try to light it up, Cortland downfield, or Jeudy if he's healthy. Just a shot on the first play action pass, try and catch people off guard, and just start the season off with a bang.
That has Sean Payton written all over it.
Yeah.
Hope I didn't give anything away.
Well, do you know something that we don't know?
Hey, I don't know.
You know those first 10 plays?
Be ready for some shots. Be ready for some big plays.
I love it. And you should start your morning off with a shot of AG1. That's maybe what makes Russell Wilson fast, is taking some AG1 this offseason, because it's going to get you all the vitamins, minerals, probiotics, antigens that you need to get your day started off right. And the great thing about it is it's less than your average cup of coffee every single day, less than $3 a day to get you all of those vitamins and nutrients that you need. It's going to help you in so many different ways, and it's a great way to start off your morning. So make sure to check them out over at AG1 at drinkag1.com/Broncos. That's going to get you a free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. So check them out, drinkag1.com/Broncos.
And if you need another shot, well, maybe you shouldn't shot this. Maybe you should sip this. You know, Spirit Hound is a very good whiskey. It's maybe not something you should sip. Should shot. You should take your time, sip it, enjoy it with friends. It's made right here in Lyons, Colorado. It's an award-winning whiskey. 2022 Whiskey of the Year in the London Spirits Competition. You can bring in your own juniper berries to Lyons Distillery and get a free cocktail. It's available in 40 states nationwide. They have a new tasting room in Highlands, 3622 Tejon Street. So go check them out. They're a great whiskey. I think we'll definitely be sipping some throughout the course of this weekend. Enjoy yourself. Have a great time this weekend. Make sure to check out Spirit Hound.
You're going to be taking how many sips? How many shots?
I'm taking 3 shots and a couple sips. I think that's where I'm at so far.
I think we got 9 shots for Todd Davis this weekend.
Let's
already
go.
Set.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
All right, let's go on this whiteboard and let's get to our another key of the game, man up.
Yeah, so basically, man, the Broncos need to man up. This is twofold. My coach always told me that stopping a run was a desire. I think every play that you have is going to have every gap gapped out. Defense is not going to come up against a formation that the offense is putting in front of them and not have it gapped out against the run. Now, from that point forward...
Todd, explain what you mean by that.
Okay, so by that I mean that when the offensive line comes up, you have different gaps. From the center to the guard, it's the A gap. From the guard to the tackle, that's the B gap, and it goes so on and so forth out. When defensive coordinators line up plays, they gap it out, basically. So every gap is accounted for by a player. So the nose tackle may have the A gap, the linebacker may have the B gap, and so on and so forth. So every gap is accounted for. So now stopping the run is no longer on the coach. It's on you. And I feel like the Broncos have to man up and make a decision like, hey, we're not going to let Josh Jacobs come in here. We're not going to allow him up to run all over us, and it's going to be our job to stop him. And then also with that, I think it's best playing with the loaded box. And the way you do that is you play man coverage. So I would love to see the Broncos in a lot of man coverage with one safety over the top. I think that Pat is ready to face Davante, and he's itching for it because of everything that went into last year, all the comments that were said. He's 100% ready for it. I think you have Hooper against Singleton. He's a great covering linebacker who was a really good tight end throughout the league. I think he's not as good as he once was, so I think that'll be a good matchup for him. I think you let Damari go one-on-one, and I think you let Caden Stearns come down on Winfro and allow them to go one-on-one. Still having Justin in the middle of the field, but you stack the box, you don't let them run, we man up, and we lock this thing down, and we take care of the Raiders.
I love it. I love it. That's great insight. And for me, them trading Darren Waller for a third-round pick changes how you approach them so much, because I agree, Alex Singleton is a good coverage linebacker, but when you're dealing with the George Kittles, the Travis Kelce's, the Darren Wallers, there might be 1 or 2 more guys in that conversation at tight end. You can't simply put one player on, whether it's a Justin Simmons because of how big those guys are, or whether it's a linebacker because of how fast those tight ends are. But you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now they have a good tight end, not a dangerous tight end. Right. And I just think your plan might not have worked if it was Darren Waller there, but because they said, bye, Darren, I think it now definitely works.
Yeah, I think we trust Alex Singleton enough to go one-on-one with Hoop. Hoop's my guy. I trained with him in the offseason, but I think Alex Singleton got you, man. Alex Singleton has got you, man. I think he can definitely cover you one-on-one. So I think that's what the Broncos should do. And then you have that free safety in the middle of the field to really help wherever is needed. Justin's his biggest plays come when he's just free and able to make plays and can kind of read the quarterback and adjust. So I think that'll be great.
So you want to see, talking about Pat Surtain specifically on Davante Adams, like, do you want to see Pat follow Davante all game long?
Yeah.
Really?
He's that good of a player. First team All-Pro, I don't think there's only 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to be one of the top 2 in the entire NFL. That means you are definitely good enough to travel and follow the wide receiver, their best wide receiver, wherever he goes.
Do you think there's anything to be said for allowing some of these younger guys to go up against a guy like Davante and prove that they're ready in the league right now?
Yeah, I think you have to. In order to be the best, you have to beat the best. So I think he has to show that he can go one-on-one with Davante, go one-on-one with Tyreek Hill. He has to. I know we're not at PS2 Island yet, but I think he's working to that level. So he has to be able to go one-on-one with some of these big name guys. I think he's going to get his shot this weekend.
But you don't think Damari should ever see a little time on Davante?
Why? Why? That's like, I don't know. Like if you have Kawhi and going against LeBron, you want Kawhi to guard LeBron every time. You never want to have a Paul George on him. Like that's just you know what I'm saying? You want to have your best matchup.
Does it give away the defense though?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter?
No, because then it's like we're putting our best on your best. If you beat us, then we'll live with it. Like it doesn't matter if you know, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take Pat to win that matchup. So do your best and throw it over there if you want, but I think it's good on good, man. We're going to see what happens.
Lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lockdown.
and in fact, I'm just going to get to one of mine right now. I don't think it's the next one because it plays off of this, Todd, and we hadn't talked about it, but I think it can fit together. I think you need to double down on Davante Adams, and what I mean by that is Surtain follows him all game. Pat is a top 2 corner in the NFL, like you said, with that first team All-Pro. But on top of that, have Justin Simmons back there just covering the top, make sure nothing gets behind him, because Davante Adams, where he killed the Broncos in that second game, was a 31-yard touchdown and a 35-yard walk-off touchdown in overtime. It's because Davante was able to just get behind him, and there were some issues with the coverage. It wasn't all on Pat on those 2 plays, but that's the key, is just to keep Davante in front of you, because if you don't have those 2 plays, then Davante has a 75-yard game in that second game, and the Broncos probably win that game. And then the game before, Davante Adams still got 101 yards, but he didn't crush you that game. 0 touchdowns. They kept everything with Davante in front of him. If Davante goes out and has 13 targets, which he had both of the last 2 games against the Broncos, 10 catches for 100 yards, but no touchdowns, I mean, he still did work on the Broncos, but he didn't beat them himself. It's when you get those 30-yard touchdowns and those touchdowns that come with it. So I think it's about keeping everything in front. And Justin Simmons, the best free safety in the NFL and the best guy at keeping things in front of him and being that ball hawk. So I think this is too simple. You put it a lot better. 9 guys to stop the run. And obviously like 7 guys to stop the run, because you're going to have a guy on a tight end and a guy on Jacoby Myers, Damari on Jacoby. And then just 2 guys that are just always watching Davante, and one of them is Pat the entire game.
Yeah, I love that. And then, like you said, having Justin over the top, I think defense, you don't have to be complicated. You just have to run what you run well. Like going back to your point, like giving it away. We ran like 3 plays when we won the Super Bowl. It's cover 1, cover 4, and then we mixed it up with a little bit of cover 3. Like that's all we ran. But we were talented enough that what we ran, we did it so well. Like, doesn't matter if you come out and try to throw at Davante 12 times. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think Pat is I think he's ready, man. He has to keep elevating himself and keep stepping up, and I think he's ready for the challenge. He's a talented young corner. So, yeah, I think they're going to put a lot on his plate. And with Justin over the top, I think he should feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I think especially if they're throwing the ball at Davante Adams 12 times. I mean, I believe Pat's going to win 10, 11 of those matchups. I think Davante has one nice 50-50 ball that he's able to come down with maybe, but like I think at the end of the day, Pat's elite, and I think he's only gotten better, which is crazy because he's been elite since the day he entered this league. But I mean, I love the idea. I just classic devil's advocate over here. Just want to throw it out there.
I love that. And Davante is also pissed. if Pat just about the situation with the Raiders. They trade away his best friend. They trade the reason why he wanted to be a Raider.
Derek.
If the Broncos go out there and shut him down in the first half, or he only gets one target because of the way the Broncos are covering Javonte, maybe he throws a temper tantrum at halftime and things are already imploding before the first game's over.
Do the Raiders survive the first game? Like, is there a chance that they just like sell the organization by halftime? Like,
I think somebody's gonna pull a Antonio Brown or just take their jersey off and
just walk out.
And just walk out. Like, I'm done with this, man.
Broncos not only beat them, but they just rip their soul from them. That'd be incredible. All right, let's not get to the next key for this game, and it is.
Well, now we might be behind, or we might be a little scrambled.
We might be a little ahead here.
Let's see.
Let's get physical.
That's me. I just want to see a physical matchup. I want to see 2 back sets. Hello. Somebody's texting me right now.
Damn, it's popular.
And I think that's where it is. This is the run game for me. This is I want to see a ton of 2 back sets. I know we're going to. I want to see Burton out there with Javonte and Samaje at the same time. Like, I think the key for the Denver Broncos offense, other than letting Russ be Russ, is to pound the rock. And that's been a topic of conversation since I think the moment Sean Payton arrived in Denver, that this is going to be a run-first team. And I think against this Raiders defense, they've really struggled against the run. This is a really good week to just feed Javonte. I actually want to see Jaleel in there quite a bit as well. I want to see how Sean decides to use him, because I don't think during the preseason that we saw even a slight glimpse into what the offensive system really looks like, especially with the run games. So really excited to see some 2 back sets this week, and just, embarrass this Raiders front 7.
We've got some Raiders fans in here, and just wanted to say thanks for tuning in with us. And I agree that just embarrass the Raiders front 7. Todd, how frustrating is it for a pass rusher when the team can't stop the run, and so they can't pin their ears back and attack the quarterback because all they're doing is running the ball?
Yes, I know it's really frustrating. I've had a couple conversations with my guys up front when we couldn't really get the run stopped the way we wanted to. Because you can't really transition from there. When they're running the ball all day, when they have success with that, they're going to stick with it. So, like you said, I think it's imperative for us to have a good run attack ourselves, to really put us on the forefront and really kind of control the game. If we're able to run the ball, play action pass, that puts us in the driving seat. We can control time of possession, and then that gives, Davante less targets. That gives Josh Jacobs less runs. So I think that'll be great for us, with a 2 back set. Y'all here is doing a great job of getting us figured out right now.
Crawling on the ground right now.
Guys, I think there's a chance. Is my mic messed up, you hear? I'm buzzing everyone. I'm that one. No, behind the curtain, everyone. Apparently my mic is all messed up. I'm gonna unplug. You guys keep going.
That's the kind of energy that the Broncos need, man. By any means necessary. I love it, man.
It's so true. And one of the things I think we got our last cherry on top with Javonte Williams' injury. It was good news when he was out there during OTAs and practicing. It was great news seeing him out there at training camp, full go. He took 1 day off, and he was still wearing his helmet and pads and running around out there. The coaches just made him take a day off of hitting. And it was more great news when he played in that preseason game. Yesterday, we found out from Sean that Javonte is going to play a big role this week. So Sean wouldn't say if there's going to be any limitations, but it seems like if there's going to be any limitations or snap counts, it's going to be pretty minor.
Yeah, he looked healthy all throughout training camp, and I think he's ready to go, man. I'm ready to see him turn it on and really be the back we all know and love. So I look for him to have a big role.
And not only a 2-back set or 3-back set with Jaleel in there, you have 2 bruisers of backs with Javonte and Samaje. You wear the defense down with not even like 10-yard runs back-to-back, with 3.5, 4 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards. And you just keep doing that and wear the defense down at a mile high where the Raiders aren't used to playing. And then on top of that, then you bring Jaleel out of the backfield or you go deep to court. Man, I mean, that's not the traditional modern day offense of Patrick Mahomes back there, Tom Brady throwing the ball 50 times, but that is something that can really throw defenses off because they're prepared to face those high-flying offenses.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I definitely agree with you.
I like the idea of throwing Jaleel in there to be kind of like the killer, I guess. Like, I need another word for this. Like, I don't know what that would be, but just the guy who once you, I mean, we all know the way that you wear down a defense is just keep running the ball. And once they're a little tired, once they're a little on their heels, then you put Jaleel in. And usually you go once they're tired, once they're on their heels, you take like a deep shot. Mm-hmm. No, I'm saying like once they're tired, put Jaleel in there and let him cut a rug and get on out there and just like have like a huge 20-yard play. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for Jaleel because I think that having 3 really dynamic backs changes what this offense can really do. We all remember once Javonte went down last year, it was like, well, shit. Like, I guess the run game isn't something that we really need to worry about. So now that they have 3 like highly, highly capable guys, I mean, it's going to be fun and dynamic watching this offense and how they go about it.
I agree, and I remember what I was thinking about saying. Being on at practice, we can't give you guys too much information, but we saw a lot of unique backfield sets and guys in position. So I think it'll be great for the first game to really be able to mix things up. I think you'll see a lot of things you may not be expecting or didn't know that were a part of the playbook. So it'll be a good mix. I think a lot of running backs will play. A lot of action will happen. So
you're going to see things that you haven't seen in Denver on the offensive side of the ball in a decade. I mean, since Payton was here, and it's going to be very different than when Payton did. But in terms of offensive creativity, I mean, that's been missing for so long here. And Sean didn't show any of it in the preseason because why would you do that? It was vanilla. That we have not seen Sean Payton's offense. All right, let's get to the next key for this game right here.
I just want to see this one too. Jaleel still isn't, and Madden. That's a crime.
No way.
That's a crime.
Wow,
You're
that
right.
is really,
right. Cruising
really
through space.
bad. And before you hear pulls that up, I got to tell you about our friends over at Kind Love to celebrate the Weekend up at Boulder. Probably going to want to check out Kind Love. There we go. Where they've got their products all over the state in over 100 stores. And you know what products I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Turbo Core, which packs a punch. You can find that line at over 100 stores, plus Kind Love flour around the state. And if you go to their store in Cherry Creek or North Denver, mention the code DNVR, you're going to receive 25% off all Kind Love flour, pre-rolls, and their Turbo joint line. So check them out in one of their 2 stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver, or go to kindlove.com and make sure to mention DNVR.
And don't forget to head on over to splashsports.com. DNVR, they have a weekly Pick X contest for everyone to participate in for real money, and you guys know how to enter in that. You go to splashsports.com/DNVR. The link is right there on the screen. You can see that. To get started, you just need to deposit cash and enter DNVR's weekly NFL pick contest for just $20. The first prize, $7,500. Second prize, $2,160. Third prize, $1,080. So these weekly contests will be running all year, so you guys can keep that link handy. Go ahead and bookmark that. If you want to run your own contest, like if you're tired of being the commissioner on leagues, chasing people down with none of the reward, you could sign up to be a commissioner right through the link and earn money for contests you're already running with friends and family. So head on over to splashsports.com/DNVR to join in. We'll have different contests coming out, so we're stoked to compete with and against each and every one of you. So be sure to click on that link, splashsports.com/DNVR.
All right, let's jump into
logo.
the next key. Yeah, a little whale.
So cute.
It is cute. Next one, double down. We talked about that. Davante Adams got to double him. So let's hit the next one here. Kicking and screaming.
Oh, wait. A few things came down.
A few things here.
A few things came up.
It's too focused on your mic.
I know.
No, Jimmy's down.
Yeah, this was a Seinfeld reference. I don't know if you guys remember that Seinfeld episode about Jimmy when he talked in the third person the whole time.
Yes.
This is Jimmy's down. And this is, I want to see Jimmy down on his back numerous times throughout this game. This is where I want to see this Broncos pass rush. Randy Gregory, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, Frank Clark, just absolutely getting after the quarterback. This is a time where we can see, like, hey, all offseason we were worried about the Broncos pass rush. After the preseason, we're all like, okay, this might be a strength of this team all of a sudden. Are they legitimately the strength that we believe that they are, or did we somehow get duped? I don't think we got duped. Personally, I am all in on this Broncos pass rush, but they need to come out hot week 1 and get after Jimmy and show some of the weaknesses along that offensive line there for the Raiders.
I love that. And the key's stopping the run to make Jimmy have to pass. And that Las Vegas pass offensive line in terms of pass protection.
Not good.
Not good. And Jimmy Garoppolo himself, not good when he plays in Denver, at least. Remember the last time Jimmy was here?
No, I don't remember.
Last year with the 49ers, his team put up 10 points in a game. In fact, he helped the Broncos win that game, not just by putting up 10 points, but by stepping out of the back of the end zone for a safety. I mean, he self-safetied himself. He Dan Orlovsky'd himself for a Broncos win, essentially. That 2 points was the difference in the game.
That's
Jimmy
so
doesn't
funny.
like playing here. You should be able to fluster him with this crowd, with this pass rush. And if you can't get to the quarterback in this game, with this Raiders offensive line, it's going to be tough to have success later in the season against better offensive lines.
Yeah, and he's not a super mobile quarterback, so I think you're getting after him, being able to keep him in the pocket. You get your hands on him. I don't think he's very well under pressure either. So I think hands in his face, and Jimmy won't have a good game. That's funny because I watch Seinfeld all the time. Have you seen the episode where this guy named Jimmy, he's like a basketball player at the gym with them, and he has like some good games. So he's like, Jimmy did good. Jimmy made a good
Third
pass.
person.
Always in third person.
Jimmy
so.
wants to ask Elaine out. Oh, does he? Oh, and he shows up to Elaine's house, and she thought it was going to be someone else because she didn't know that he was Jimmy. No, you haven't seen this episode? Okay.
We'll get you up on game.
Yeah.
Man. You can't be missing Seinfeld episodes.
Should we do a pod like that? We
Just all third person?
All refer to ourselves in third person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexis thinks. Yeah.
When you ever had a great game, Todd, did you ever do that?
Like no.
Todd can't be stopped.
No.
Todd does not give me third person energy at all.
That's hilarious.
You know what Jimmy's good for every
God.
single game?
I don't know. One deep ball.
A very stupid play, at least one. I mean, there's.
I was trying to be positive, and you're like, just one dumb play.
No, every single game. I mean, he's like the ultimate winner.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really do anything else like incredible except for win. His winning percentage throughout his career is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing that he's just known for. One just terrible decision a game.
Yeah.
And you just have to be able to make sure that you take advantage of that. Like, he is going to throw into double coverage, and Justin Simmons just going to have to come down with the ball. And from what we saw from Justin Simmons in training camp, he's going to come down with the ball.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a Esang Bassi pick. I just want to see him continue the streak. I'm seeing Esang in the nickel picking off Jimmy Garoppolo this week.
Not one.
Is that bold?
Not two. Not three, but 4 games in a row for Esang.
Yeah, I'm feeling Esang this week.
That is
Sorry,
bold.
Todd, I
like
interrupted
that.
you.
No, it's all good. I'm rocking with that. If he can keep this streak alive, I'm with it.
Yep. All right, let's get to the next one here. I believe 2 left. The next one is kicking and screaming.
Yeah, it's the AFC West. All the games are going to be close. We've lost some games to them, 6 in a row to be exact. By 1 point here, by 4 points here, in overtime, I think kicking is going to be paramount for the Broncos to find success. Would like to say no pressure, but 100% pressure is on Will Lutz to be 100% on Sunday. So he needs to come. And it's just kicking and screaming. Really should be kicking or screaming, because I think if the kicks don't go in, everybody's screaming at their TV at the stadium. So
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, yeah. So I think the pressure's on, Mr. Lutz. We got to see you make some kicks.
Man, the pressure's on Sean Payton as well when it comes to Will Lutz, because Sean got rid of Brandon McManus, who was a staple here for a decade. Outside of last year, pretty damn solid, a guy that you could count on.
Yeah.
Then you had Brett in here, who finished preseason pretty strong, but Sean said, Will's my guy. And so if Will comes out and proves him right, that's going to be great for Sean. But all the pressure's on him. And we got a little report today from Brandon Cristal that the long snapper, the punter Riley Dixon, and Will Lutz went down to the stadium this week on Monday and practiced kicks so that the first time Will was kicking at the stadium wasn't during the game. And according to Brandon, he said, rumor has it that Will hit a 70-yarder out there.
I mean, pretty tough to hit a 70-yard. I mean, I know college kids who can hit 70-yarders with like out anybody coming at them. You know what I mean?
Yep, no fans.
So, no fans. It's dead quiet in there. Like, yeah, sure, okay, same.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's probably not a 70-yarder in this game.
No, I mean, yeah. No, Todd, chime in before I say something stupid.
I mean, hopefully not. If we're having to kick 70-yard field goals, that means the offense is not moving the ball.
True.
So I hope we don't have any 70-yarders. Yeah, I don't know. Can you make a 70-yarder?
Absolutely not.
What do you think you can make realistically?
With no one around?
Nobody.
A tee or like the normal setup with someone holding that?
Set up.
Am I too bold to say 27 yards?
I think you can get 27.
You think I can get 27?
Yeah.
Damn.
Todd's got a lot of confidence
Because
in
it's
us.
already 10 years in the back of the end zone.
Right.
I mean, you're only at 17 yards.
So as someone who was just like really, I had something to say about that 70-yarder. I will say I have made a field goal once, but it wasn't from the usual spot. It was from the goal line.
Oh, a 0-yarder.
I had a
10-yarder.
Well,
10 yard.
Yeah.
10 yard, technically. Right? Ish. It was a 10-yard field goal.
Wow.
And when I tell you that barely went in, I mean, it's really hard to do. But if you are a kicker, I think most collegiate up kickers can nail a 70-yarder.
Nail a 70-yarder.
I thought you were going to say it was at least 20 yards because you was like, 70 yards ain't nothing. Like
70 yards, I just feel like if you've been trained as a kicker, if that's what you do. Did you guys see that stuff with Bill Belichick when he was talking about long snappers? It was like a 10-minute answer.
Insane.
It's insane. Anyways, special teams is on my mind. But it's just funny because, they used to be position players who would also kick. Like these guys nowadays, they've been kicking since Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Like they're trained to be kickers, some of these guys. So, I mean, I would assume that any guy who's a kicker in the NFL without anybody around in a quiet stadium. I mean, maybe, am I giving everybody too much credit?
No, I think you're right. I think that's all that they do. Like, all they do is kick
You better be
all
able
day.
to.
You better be able to make some field goals. Like, that's your only job. You don't have to run down on kickoff, too. Just kick it.
I honestly think I could hit like a 40-yarder.
You think?
I believe in you, man.
Yeah, I
I
think
played
you can hit
soccer
a
for
40
a long time. Like I was like so I would boot it across the field. Like
Now-
I think I might be able to hit a 40 at least.
Are we talking one opportunity, or do you get like 10 chances to hit one?
Let's just say 3.
3?
Yeah, you get 3 chances.
You hear you can do it?
I think I can hit a 40-yarder in 3.
40-yarder and 3. Todd, what can you do? You have so much confidence in me. You got to,
You know,
are
I'm
you going back to
thinking.
50?
I know.
I think I can hit. I'm like toe poking it. I'm not
Yeah,
like
of course,
kicking it
yeah.
right. But I think I could probably get 40 or 50 yards in 3 tries.
Yep.
From the middle of the field. I'm not doing hash marks.
You get to put it wherever you
in
want.
the middle of
Yep.
the field. Yeah, I think I can make that.
I just feel like we need to link up with the Broncos and say, hey, is there any way we could have like a little mini DNVR field day out here? Because like there's some stuff that needs to happen. Like I need to see Todd hit a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Like I need to see you get lit up by Kareem Jackson. I need to see Hank get smoked by Alex Singleton.
yeah.
Like I'm the only one that doesn't have to do anything. But like I'll ask Shauna Peters if I can get a cheer outfit and just
There
like,
we go. I want to see you run a 40.
Ooh, yikes.
Can you be fat? Who do we think the slowest Bronco is at a 40 right now?
On the team?
Yep.
Ooh.
It's
Quinn?
Powers. Ben Powers.
Powers? I don't know. I'm thinking.
What did he run?
I'm pretty sure it's him. He's too big to run 40 that quick.
I'm thinking maybe Mike Purcell,
Dude.
just because, I mean, he's
been hurt?
only been, exactly. He's been hurt, and he's one of the biggest guys on it. It's just true. Right now, he doesn't need to run.
No, but the D linemen, they're big and fast,
They're
man.
faster than you think.
I think they're faster than the old linemen.
They're faster than the offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
I'm
than a
thinking, like,
younger offensive lineman?
Mike
Yeah, I think so.
McGlinchey?
Oh, yeah, I think he'd be fast. He's
You
like,
think?
he does not look, he's got like no fat on his body.
I know.
He's
That's
just
why I was
tall.
hoping like
He's
maybe
tall and
It's
big.
Quinn.
wild. Yeah, Quinn.
Either
Maybe
way, I'll
one
be
big
slower
boys.
than all of them. It doesn't even matter. Like you could throw out any guy on that team, and I'm gonna be like, I swear. My mom used to say, she was like, "Oh, you have stereopositivism," and I was like, "What is that?" Like some made up word. She's like, "It's when the iron in your blood turns to lead in your ass."
Oh my gosh.
Because I am the slowest person you'll ever. I'm like slow mo in real life. I don't run. I speed walk.
Speed walk.
I feel like I could do that competitive, like speed walking, like the Olympic sport. That I'm cool with. The second I actually have to like start like really lifting my feet, it's just.
It's done.
No.
It's done.
It's bad.
Let's hope the Broncos make Max Crosby look that slow. And let's get to our final key of the game. Yeah. It is Max Protect with 2 X's for Max Crosby. This guy has been a Broncos killer.
I hate this
Max
guy.
Crosby in his 8 games against the Broncos is not only 7-1, but he has done his job on the defensive side. He has 11.5 sacks in those 8 games, which is insane. In the past 4 games, he's averaging 2 sacks per game against the Broncos, had 4 sacks in the 2 games last year, and he has a sack in the past 7 games against the Broncos. This guy has dominated the Broncos offensive line. 14 tackles for a loss, 15 quarterback hits, 11.5 sacks. The Broncos haven't had a 10-sack player since 2018, and they've had an entire season to get that. Max Crosby in 8 games has 11.5 sacks against the Broncos. That just shows how dominant he's been, and that's why I'm Max protecting, throwing everything at him, and that means wherever Max Crosby is, Chris Manhertz is there too, or Michael Burton's out there as well, or Hank Sky, Nate Atkins is out there, or Javonte or Samaje. There's always going to be 2 people on the side of Max Crosby. And Todd, is that just too basic? Is that something that's not possible in a game plan, or is that something that should happen every single play?
No, it should happen every single play. And, you know, the best thing with edge rushers is you want to knock them off their path. You don't want them to have a clear shot at Garrett going one-on-one and have the outside wide open. You want to be able to chip him. And the good thing about a good chip is you almost have to, like, put your whole body into it. Like, most of the time you chip the guy out on a route. Like, I want these guys to be chip and almost stay in. Like, don't even worry about a route. We'll let Cortland and the other wide receivers take care of that.
Yeah.
Max protect. I think that's key. It's going to be paramount because, like you said, he's been tearing us up, man. And I don't want to see it anymore. So help our tackles out, McGlinchey and Bowles. They need some love, man. So give them some love on the inside.
Yeah.
And you know, he's going to run stunts too. So our guys on the inside need to be ready for that too. So Powers, everybody needs to be on board with Max protect and stopping Max Crosby.
And on top of that, Chandler Jones isn't at the facility right now. It doesn't seem like he's going to play this game. You have one guy to worry about on their whole entire defense, not just like their defensive line.
Literally.
If someone else beats you and goes for a 2-sack game, I guess give them their props. Just don't let it be Max Crosby again.
Max Crosby he eats every single time he goes up against the Broncos. And like, what's funny about Max Crosby is when you see him in person too. And I know NFL players don't like correlate these two things. They're like it's not an issue. Max Crosby is like a scary looking dude. Like he's like so intimidating from his size to the tats to the way that he's just like foaming at the mouth before a game. Like there's like a mental toughness and a physical toughness to Max Crosby that's really intimidating, and the Broncos absolutely have to match that this week. And I think they will. I think once you break the huddle, you just have to know where 98 is. And as long as you know where 98 is on the field, somebody has their eyes on him. Like you should be able to contain him at least enough to where he doesn't completely take over this entire game. Hopefully.
Totally agree.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, let's get into our picks for tonight's Thursday night game. But first, make your picks over at DraftKings Sportsbook, where the NFL season is officially here. And DraftKings is celebrating by giving you $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet $5 on any NFL game. So if you want $200 in bonus bets for the Broncos game this week, bet $5 on tonight's game. Pick the Lions money line, pick them with the 4.5 points, and then you'll instantly, regardless of if that bet hits or not, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. And they're giving all customers 2 new offers every single game day this month. So now's the time to get in to get all of those offers over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Head to the App Store now, download now, and use the code DNVR to sign up, where new customers can get $200 in bonus bets by using that code DNVR and placing a $5 bet. DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW-YORK or text HOPE-NEW-YORK 467-369. 888-789-7779. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario, see dkng.com/football for eligibility, terms, and responsibility gambling resources. Bonus bets expire after 7 days after issuance, and eligibility and restrictions apply.
After that, you need a drink, man.
Tell me
they
about
say
it.
like the best recovery drinks are actually like chocolate milk and beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they
yeah.
replenish your body.
Yeah.
So if you need some replenishment, check out Breckenridge Brewery.
Beautiful.
The official beer of DNVR. They've been doing it for over 32 years, and they have a love and a passion for beer that's unmatched. Their beer is made with 100% renewable energy. They have some favorites that they want you to try, which are the Mile High City Golden Ale, the Christmas Ale, the Buddy Pass, the Avalanche Amber Ale, Vanilla Porter Jr., the Broncos Country Pale Ale. You can't go wrong with a cup of some Breckenridge Brewery, and I know I'll have some, so now I'm at 3 shots, 2 sips, and 2 brews. So check
love
out
it.
Breckenridge Brewery.
I love
And
it.
some chocolate milk to really ruin your day.
And something else I love, DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Let's dish out some picks that we like this week. I'm going to go tonight's game, and I'm going to pick the over. 53 points. We're talking about 2 dynamic offenses and 2 defenses that stink. No Chris Jones there for Kansas City. In fact, report from our guy James Palmer just came out. You know where Chris Jones is going to be for this game?
In this suite.
Yes, wearing a suit. He's not going to be on the field.
I love
Yeah.
it.
He's going to be at the game, but not playing. Give me the over. I think this is going to be a fun game. That maybe the Lions lose, which we'll give our picks in just a second. Or maybe the Chiefs lose, and we'll give our picks in just a second. What are you guys going with?
I don't think the Chiefs lose this game. I think they win, though, only by like 1.
Oh, so Lions to cover?
I think the Lions will cover this game.
4.5.
4.5 is the spread.
Yep, I like that.
All right. I think that the Lions are going to win the game. I'm going to give it to the Lions. I'm going to give it to the Lions to win the game. They missed a couple key pieces on the Chiefs, so let's see the Lions take it over, man. We want to have a good weekend, and it starts tonight with some shots, so let's do it.
Let's go. The shots start tonight.
I feel like I've come a long way since last week. Remember our show, and I was like, Lions get absolutely dominated. They get killed. Now I'm like, I think they lose by 1.
Maybe by tonight, you'll be picking the Lions to actually win by 1.
Yeah, you know what? I like Todd's take on this. I'm hoping the Lions win.
Me too.
And now without Travis Kelce, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they without officially?
Questionable.
They're
So
probably
maybe.
not going to
So
let
maybe.
us know before.
So that's our DraftKings pick of the week, and I got to give a little tease to the pregame show that we've got a new, completely renovated pregame show. 45 minutes before kick, so we're talking like 1:30, 1:40. Tune in to DNVR Sports on YouTube. That's the only place you're going to find it. So if you're listening to the podcast, go subscribe to our YouTube page and stay tuned. We have an awesome pregame show coming your way where you're going to get insight like no other.
Yeah, you're not gonna want to miss this, man. It's gonna be fun. I know I'll be there. We're gonna be having a lot of fun. We're gonna be by the bar, so come and check us out, man. I think we're gonna have the best pregame show out, hands down. I've been a part of other ones, and I feel like this one that we're putting together, something special, something unique, something you're not gonna find. Yeah, man, come check us out. It's gonna be great.
Todd's gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. It is gonna be an absolute blast. As we've kind of segmented this all out, there's some really fun, entertaining stuff that, like Todd just said, you're just not gonna see anywhere else. It's all really unique, really fun, and I mean Todd with some
insights, some secrets.
some secrets in Area 51, maybe.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, before...
There may or may not.
Do you want some former Broncos? I think I can pull some strings and get you some former Broncos.
let's
Whatever you
go.
want, man. I'm here to serve the people. You know, that's what I'm all about. But we'll
Let's
Todd
definitely
Davis's
have.
contact list is
You
coming
know
in
what I'm
handy.
saying?
Man, impressive.
Look at my black book and see what I can find.
I love it. Yeah,
All
come
right.
hang out at the bar with us though too, live. It's gonna be a blast.
It's going to be awesome. So before we get into our picks for tonight,
Yep.
what's the number one key for the Broncos to win this game? We just broke down so many different keys. What's the most important one?
Stop joshing around. I think that's it. That's number one. I think because when they're able to run the ball, they control the game so much. And then if we aren't able to stop it, that just opens up the rest of their playbook. We have to be able to stop the run first and foremost. And if we do that, I have faith in our offense to be able to score enough points for us to win. But we can't let them run up and down the field and just make it a long day for the Broncos. We can't have that.
I think it's free Russ, personally. I think right now these two defenses, it's so clear that the Broncos are the better defense. So I'm not really worried about them handling Jimmy G and Josh and all that. What I'm concerned about is this offense scoring points. That's something that we just haven't seen a lot of. I need to see this offense get off to a hot start. There needs to be a touchdown on that very first drive, and I want to see Russ having fun, being himself, moving around, using his legs, and really being the driver of this Broncos offense. These two offenses are, in my opinion, like a wash. They're very similar, in my opinion, where I think if Russell Wilson can really hold the reins of this team and take this game into his hands, I think this team has a really good chance of winning this game. I think they're going to win anyways.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to go Josh Jacobs, too. He's undefeated against the Broncos, so stop him. We got a super chat coming in from our friend Bud Lightyear. Says, Broncos by 30.
I love it.
Let's ride. Bringing Let's Ride back?
We ride into the sunset with that one for sure.
We will. And are we riding tonight on a Kansas City loss, Todd? You think the Lions are winning?
Yeah, I'm riding with that for sure. Let's ride on the Kansas City Chiefs getting their butt whooped. Maybe not getting their butt whooped, losing by 3, but I think that the Lions may be able to get it done.
You know who else is riding with you?
Who is?
Ryan is riding with you. He's taking the Lions to win straight up. You know who else is riding with you too? Henry is choosing the Chiefs to lose.
Rocking.
Shocking.
We've got 3 guys picking the Chiefs to lose. Alexis, you want to join them? Or did it only take 5 minutes for you to switch from Lions?
I know. It's only been like 3.5. You know what? Because I don't want to be Hank, I'm going to say Lions win this game by 1.
I cannot believe you guys are going to give me a 1-game lead on this. I'm not going to say it, but, I mean, the Chiefs will take care of business. And I cannot believe that I'm going to be up 1-0 on every single one of you.
I'm not going to root
Listen,
for the
we're not going to stop you. We're not going to stop you from making this crazy decision. We're going to let you do what you want to do. But when we're all 1-0, we'll buy you a beer, man. That'll be,
there we go. There we go.
Prize.
I love it. All right. That's going to do it for today. But we're not done for the week. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m., so make sure to tune in for our final show where we give all of our predictions. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out.